To understand and know how to program your Arduino, there are going to be some commands that you will need to learn if you would like to interact with your board. In this video, you will learn some of the essential commands for your project. For the input and output of digital signals, there are three functions that can be used. One of them is to change your pin's mode, which basically means you'll tell it whether it will be an output pin or an input one. There's also the option of writing on a pin to tell it whether it should be set to low or high. And another that will read the status of the pin, such as if it's already set to low or high, so you can make changes. For pin mode, the pin number must be an integer value. Simply choose the pin you want to utilize for this part and check up the number that corresponds to it. You can choose between three different modes, namely the input, output, and the input pull-up. Input pull-up can be used to monitor the state of a switch by establishing serial communication between your Arduino and your computer over USB. For digital write, the pin number must also be an integer value, so look it up before continuing. The values for this will either be low or high, so you'll have to decide which one you want to use. For digital read, the pin number must be an integer value, exactly as it was for the previous one. Examine the pin for which you are looking for information and then enter that number into the brackets. You will get a result that is either low or high because you are trying to retrieve information about a certain pin. In addition to having pins that are for digital inputs and outputs, there are also pins that are for analog. There are few commands that may be used with the analog symbol as well, depending on what you want to do with it. One of the commands will be used to set up the reference voltage, which will also serve as the input voltage maximum range. Another command you can use is to read the analog voltage, after which you can be in charge of putting out the voltage of the analog pin of your choice. Here are some analog commands that you may want to use when working on your code. Analog read. This pin will read whatever voltage level is present at the pin. You'll be given an integer value that indicates the voltage flowing through the analog pin you are using. Analog write. This command is in charge of writing a PWM value to the pin. The duty cycle will be somewhere in the range of 0 to 255. The 0 indicates that the pin is always off, while the 255 indicates that it is always on. When you want an LED light that fades on and off, this is a nice command to use. Analog reference. There are 5 different alternatives for this one, including default. Depending on the board you choose, this will be either 3.3 or 5 volts. Internal. This is a built-in reference that may differ slightly based on the process type you choose to use. Internal 1V1. This is a built-in that is based on the 1.1 volt reference. However, it will be only available when utilizing the Mega. Internal 2V56. This is the built-in option for 2.56 volts, although it is only available on the Mega. External. This implies that you will use the voltage applied to the RF as the reference voltage for the voltage you will utilize. Learning how the board works and utilizing some of the commands that are already in your library can make a significant impact in the way your code runs. You must learn where all of the pins are located, as well as how the analog and digital pins differ from one another. Each of these is crucial to the code, and which ones you use will be determined by the type of project you're working on. You may need to utilize multiple of them depending on the project and the pins you are dealing with. For your assignment, look a blink or fade example in the Arduino IDE and understand how the program works. So that is it for this video. Please check the links in the description below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.